Hello, today I would like to talk to you about cryptography and why it is important in a professional setting, as well as some of the ways that it is done and how it can help you. Encryption allows you to protect data that is sent across not only the internet, but has been used throughout centuries when it comes time to send messages that you don't want somebody to intercept or possibly get a plain text version of what you are trying to say. Therefore, you use encryption, which allows you to create a setting of code that is able to be deciphered, but would still get across the same message that you want to present. The first topic that I would like to talk about today is hashing. Hashing is kind of the opposite of encryption, actually. Encryption is where you create a message and then you create a code or a formula that allows you to decipher the code that has been created. When it comes to hashing, there is only one formula that allows you to change the code. The main difference between hashing and encryption is that hashing is an irreversible sense of encoding. When you normally encrypt something, there is also a decryption. With hashing, there is no decryption, so once the message is changed, it cannot be changed again. You may figure that hashing also has a way to be decrypted if somebody can figure out the formula that you're using. One way to prevent this is called salting. Salting is an extra data, basically a secondary encryption that adds to the hashing. That way it would help prevent anybody who may think that they have the, we'll say, the value on what needs to be changed and how to decode your messages. Since we have talked about encryption and how to decrypt messages so that you can see what they mean, let's talk a little bit about some of the ways on how this is done. First, let's talk about symmetric key algorithms. Symmetric algorithms are algorithms for cryptology that use the same cryptographic algorithms for plain text as it does to decrypt the text as well. The keys may be similar, and often there are two different ways that the keys can be deciphered. Next, we'll talk about asymmetric encryption. Asymmetric encryption keys is where encryption keys may come in pairs. Frequently, the keys are interchangeable in a sense that it encrypts a message, then, say for example, you have one key that will encrypt the message, and then you'll have another key that will decrypt the message, but they will come at the same time. That way it's easily deciphered and kind of allows the receiving party to quickly get what you're saying, but it also poses a security threat if you can think about the reasoning of sending how to decode the message to begin with. So now that we have a basic understanding on how encryption works, and some of the ways that it can be done, and some of the ways that ciphertext can be decrypted, let's talk about an example of some software that can be used in a business setting. Let's start with Sophos Safeguard. This is an encryption tool that several companies have adopted over the last few years that allow you to maintain any safeguarding of messages, or say for example if you work for a insurance or a financial company, you can download this software onto a laptop per se, and as soon as the software is downloaded, any external device that is attached to that computer will get a piece of the software put onto it. Once the device is entered, it will ask you for a passphrase. If you cannot provide the passphrase, it will lock that external device and it will ruin it unless you completely reformat it, which we all know will destroy any previous data that is on it. Encryption software such as Sophos is extremely important for companies like that I mentioned deal with sensitive information all the time, and is another way to secure the integrity of the information that you were presenting, whether it be to a third-party vendor or the client itself, where you are constantly transmitting sensitive information. Cryptography is growing and is becoming a main source of business from the technological world. It is important to use and remember that as time goes on, the way that people can, we'll say, hack and get sensitive information is becoming more and more overwhelming. So this is another way to help protect yourself as well as your clients and the integrity of your company.